Hello, all. Welcome back to Melanin Madam. Tonight's topic is going to be on um, the people that start relationships, and I think it's like a spades game because it's not like it used to be. So, people that are just supposed to be dating or not dating, they're just messing around versus them knowing that they really wanted to lead to a relationship. But before I start, of course, don't forget to share this channel, like, and comment. I actually respond to all of my comments these days, but let's listen to something. I want you to hear it. I don't want you to see it yet, but I want you to hear it. This woman got look a certain way.
I'm definitely not into BBWs, but I like women. I like dark chocolate women. But one thing that's important, I am poly, so I'm looking for someone that's open to poly.
So that means you want two women.
I'm not opposed to two. I mean, if the count is more, then hey, it is what it is.
Could they date other men outside of you?
I would prefer not, but that's something that we'd have to discuss.
Are you gonna be paying their bills?
Nah.
So they're spiritually married to you. You would like for them, you're not paying their bills, and they have to accept more women, and you don't want them to sleep with other men?
I am not able to pay for anybody's,
I thought that's a requirement in having more than one wife, is that you have to be able to take care of both women.
At this moment, me being a student, I'm not able to care for another woman.
So then wouldn't that mean that you don't deserve a wife then if you can't care for her?
Honestly, I don't agree with that.
So let me just ask you straight up, what is the benefits of a woman signing up for this polygamous desire that you have?
I'm the benefit. The situation, what we are building is the benefit. It's not about, their needs, their finances being taken care for.
This woman got a certain way. So
I'm definitely not into BB.
I'm definitely very, very glad that for the BBW community, we have been marked safe in this natural disaster. So I think that that's very much so to our benefit. And I'm just going to say thank you, sir. I wonder if I think because it's a background of black, you'll be able to see his face. Oh, you can. Now, looks, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm just going to say I will not behold him, but that's just me. I'm also married. My husband is handsome. Every man I've dated has been handsome because everybody's strange looking. I look like Miss Piggy, so that's okay. He Ro said, he pissed you off, Ro. How he pissed you off? How did he piss you off? You want to come on and say how he pissed you off? I'll give you the code so you can log in because this is some shit. This is crazy. Y'all, this is insane. Let me tell you why. Based on this topic, let me just say, I think that I'm not toasting to any of this tonight. I'll possibly have something to toast to at the end, but no. I think that because the numbers of women is greater than men, we're already in a disposition, right? And then of those men, this is one, okay, that's in that number that is single. So out of the small pool that we have to, and when I say we, I mean we as women have to pick from, that number includes maniacs. They didn't take out anybody with any issues. They just said male, female. That's it. That's why the numbers, when people say numbers don't lie, how they don't. You can make a number whatever you want a number to be. You can make anything that you pull to show your statistics of this and that. You can make it anything that you want to be. So unless the source is somebody that you know and they're generating those numbers are not real. This is what we have to pick from. So yes, I do think that a lot of it's the audacity for me too. He think by him saying by it, him saying I'm a student, see, roll back the tape. Remember just remember Remember, just last week I said people, they'd be like, oh, I'm a student. I am the wrong person to say that to. And so are quite a bit of other Americans, okay? Especially women. You have mothers that have gotten degrees with a full time job and being a single mom or even married. Um, it's just not easy. There's no such thing in our community generally as in going to school without a job. How could you, if you want to do that, he should stay completely single, meaning no children, no woman, and no expectations. What is he bringing to the table? I don't understand. And he's batshit crazy. That doesn't make any sense at all. So, yes, I do think that a lot of women jump into relationships and think, oh, okay, it'll just be for the fun part. Like I could do everything else myself. Um, I just need somebody to have fun with, go on dates with, etc. Right? Even if you reduce what you want to that space, he just said he can't take you on a date. He just said he wants you to be his in his whole ass poly relationship, but he don't bring nothing to the table but student loan debt. Cause y'all know he got it. He don't even have enough sense to apply for scholarships. I bet he don't. He probably could get a full ride because you're not doing nothing else. You could literally apply for scholarships all day and get your education paid for. But what are you doing? You focusing on what type of damaging relationship you want to have and start. And honey, when I tell you, when he talk, mm-mm, he looked like he giving a dissertation, honey. He is confidentiality. He got all the confidence. I cannot. This man had a straight face. He had all of the confidence in the world. Like, no, I am the prize. Second, first of all, men, I need you to stop thinking that you're the prize. You're not. You're not. That's just not the way it works. There are roles for everybody. There are certain verbiage that you use, and the mere fact that you have become so jealous that the woman should be the prize that you can't even focus on. If you do what you're supposed to do, if you treat me like the prize, you're going to be treated like the king. You're going to get everything that you need to get out of the relationship. Also, you just won't be called the prize. I don't understand how you all of a sudden needed to be doing duck lips, taking pictures in the mirror and shit and putting them on social media and need to be called the prize, but so be it. I don't know. Do whatever you want to. But yes, I do think that these women are entering these type of relationships and it's no different than it's always been. It's just that these days it's the expectation that comes with it. So back in my day, people did have what they call like a bed buddy. And so that's the person that, like, okay, you're single and I'm single. We're both looking for relationships. I feel safe with you. So it's like your best friend that you also had sex with. That's basically what it was like. But there was no other strings attached. You really didn't think about being in a relationship with that person. Um, you dated and did other things. These days, because either you have to drive 8 hours and have sex with somebody on the first date. Y'all, that was another one I listened to today. She drove 8 hours to meet this guy that she saw on the show or whatever, and basically was gone within 24 hours. And he was a no go, but she slept with him. My red flag for me was a couple of things. Sorry, and I actually put it on the post. So one, people not going to be happy until they on a t-shirt for your own doing, or you in a clinic every other day and wondering why God did this to you. Okay. Just blame him for everything. Um, I just don't think that it makes sense. She drove all the way there. So, right, if you driving in a car, you driving comfortably, right? And safe. You probably got on tennis shoes, a hoodie, some tights, got your hair in a bun. She went straight to his house. How you didn't take no bath or no shower? You didn't take no shower, like pull yourself together, get a hotel just in case something went wrong. Get a hotel anyways, and then be in the area and meet him and go on a date. You went to his house. What you don't, you 8 hours away from whomever that you know, your people, you never met this person. And the question was, oh, well, do you think that he didn't like you? Is that why the vibe was off or whatever? Well, no, he was all over me when I got there. That wasn't the question. The question was, does he like you? When did liking somebody equate to sex? Especially these days. Especially when you literally, what is that, Tinder? And you swipe left or swipe right, and that really means you'll hook up with them, not that you want to date or whatever. People not gonna get enough. I don't understand. And it's really, just be honest with yourself. These days, it's no such thing as just having like a bed buddy or whatever. There's no dating or friends with benefits. There's no friends with benefits because first of all, it ain't too many friends left no more. I.e., what just happened to that poor baby traveling to Cancun with seven of her friends, or Cabo or Cancun, and her friends, they beat her up. They beat her up with their bare hands, and the ones that didn't touch her, one was recording, and the one that wasn't recording, somebody, her best friend, was there and watched, and nobody did anything. And then you reach out to her parents and say it was alcohol poisoning. So to me, that was premeditated because you already had what you were going to say planned in case something happened, and you knew that the easiest thing to use would be that, and then you jump straight on a plane and come back home because you know that you're out of jurisdiction, and then you go sit in her parents' face. The two people that did it, that actually fought her, and the best friend went and sat in the parents' face, still saying it was alcohol poisoning, and yeah, those were her friends. So first of all, can't be friends with benefits because you can't even just have friends. The people that you treating right don't even treat you right. So I would say it's just not safe. Too many people are doing too many things. Um, I will say the only thing that he said that made sense is if I'm in a poly relationship, that doesn't mean that they can be with somebody else, which is one of the things that I've talked about before in one of the other shows. Like you in these poly relationships, but it'd be cheating in those type of relationships too, which means you're adding yet another person into the equation. And you could be getting shit. Like this stuff is crazy to me. I really don't get it. I personally, um, it's not even worth it to me. I personally, if I have to go back into the the dating pool, I don't even think I would want to. I'm just being honest. I'm one of those people that shit like that scares me. It already did before, and now everything going on and everything post COVID, it seems like everybody is backwards. I'm good. I would rather be alive, and that's sad. We have to make all of these type of decisions um, based on the climate and the way the people act. Of do you want gas or do you want meat? You know, because the economy. Do you want to date and know that you're going to deal with certain things, or do you want to remain single and be happy in all of those things, but you may be lonely, you may miss out on certain things. Do you want to get married or do you want to stay single and dating? Because in getting married, it seems like once you get married, everybody loses their damn mind. I think everybody is fighting verses and things that we shouldn't have to fight them over. And that's a big one. And it's really unfortunate. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. And if I did, I would be very honest with myself. A lot of women are going through a lot of things. We are getting very hurt. And it's been that way for a very long time. Hell, most of us watched our mothers or aunt or somebody go through it. So it's nothing new. It's just that we can see it more because it's on social media. That's it. But um, it's just very unfair. But what I will say is the other thing that comes with social media and comes with so many reality shows and people sharing their life and things being exposed and things like that, you get to see what the world is really like. And so with that being said, the reason why I'm saying that is because at some point, women, you have to take responsibility. You can't keep saying men do this and men do that. Um, they do. Question is, what do you want to deal with? The question is, When is it time for you to exit? When is it time for you to be with somebody else? You have to just pick your poison, basically. You have to decide what you're willing to deal with. I'm sorry, you guys can't see it, but y'all know when you got a weave and it's that one piece of hair. Sorry. But you just have to choose what you're willing to deal with because it is sad that, before you had to choose things like, oh, well, I'll just have to take the finances or I'll be the one that cleans more, a compromise. That's more of a compromise to me. That's not a sacrifice with stuff like that. But now it's like, well, maybe he got too many baby mamas. Maybe all the money is going out the door for child support. Maybe his mama is too involved. Maybe he don't hang around the right people. Maybe he's on video games all day. Maybe he has a porn addiction. Maybe he don't maybe he's not affectionate. Maybe he's not willing to deal with his trauma and that's causing problems in our relationship. Maybe he flirts too much. Maybe he's addicted to social media. Maybe he don't know how to change a tire because he's on social media. Maybe he don't know how to do stuff around the house like and I won't say it, like the men that some of us know to be men because he's too busy taking selfies in the mirror. The compromise and the verses they're just mind numbing. They really, really are. I personally, and I know a lot of people, different ages, different races, different backgrounds, and some other countries. Now, every woman has a very traumatic relationship story. Every single woman. And every one that I do know is two types. Okay. So one type is they're still open to love, willing to try and things like that. Or they have said, I will never get married again. But they're still loving. They still go on dates. They still do all of that. They just don't want the commitment part that comes with a marriage because despite everybody's belief, you don't just sign divorce papers. If you truly married somebody that you love and you became one with them, a divorce is it's like death. It's like death, but you see the person still alive. And when you're in a marriage and you do everything that you're supposed to, or a relationship, because you have a baby with somebody, and I don't think that women have babies by somebody and just they don't want to be with that person and be a family. You just can't make me believe a woman doesn't want to be family because it's just we're born that way. That's why we have dolls to play with when we're little. I just don't believe that. It's not easy. You don't just wake up and say, I want a divorce. You don't. I would like to know. I can't even say that I know of the people that I know that are divorced, not even have told me that they wanted to sign the divorce papers. They had to sign the divorce papers or they had to file. Um, it wasn't really a choice, if you will. And it's just very hard. I don't know where we're going to go from here, where people are going to go from here. Of the males that I have talked to and that I know outside of the, oh, this person like used me for my money type of thing, I don't hear traumatic experiences, meaning, they cheated and had a baby. They caught the person cheating. They saw pictures, anything like that. I haven't really heard any of them say that, and I'm grateful for that because nobody should have to go through that. Maybe he shouldn't include somebody in his life until he becomes an adult and cares about the other person. That's how I feel. I feel like people are more worried about what they want on that day. And I really think a lot of these things are fantasies that they feel like they need to fulfill, meaning they want the benefits of what comes with whatever that they are asking for. But like for this one, if that's what you're talking about, the thing that we heard on Kendra's show, I think that that's the setup that he wants, right? So I think that he wants to go to bed every night and have a woman on each side of him and be able to fall into some vagina whenever he feels like it. What he don't know is that Paris is going to line. So good luck there. But yeah, he wants one in the kitchen cooking and one cleaning. They're probably going to have on lingerie. This is what his vision is. When he needs somebody to help him study, they're going to be laying there naked studying, and it's going to be the best thing ever. And they're going to just take such good care of him, and they're going to pamper him because he's the prize. They're going to pamper him, and everything is just going to be roses because they agreed to be there. And so if they agree to be there, it's going to be a kumbaya. It's going to be amazing, a great amount of feminine energy, because he needs to include his own feminine energy because he don't have no male energy. That's what he think is going to happen. Sounds like he watched a porn. What's really going to happen is they are women. Even if he says he can't pay bills, if you have a woman, if you are a woman and you're with a man, even when you struggle together. Okay. Complete fantasy world. Most people are in fantasy worlds. I think that just like the little study that they did on how bad video games were for children when they were trying to get a lot of Caucasian children off for doing the things that they were doing, like picking up guns and taking them to school, little bitty babies. So I'm not saying it's anything wrong with it, but I'm saying that's what made them study it. They identified that because people were allowing their kids to play those type of video games so young, they really didn't connect. When I take this gun and shoot my classmate because I'm mad at them, it's not a video game. This person is gone. Their parents are going to cry. They didn't equate it. So I know that our brains are no different than a child's brain when it comes to something like that. That part of your brain is the same. These men that want these things, it's the same thing. Don't care what anybody says. You're putting that in your head and you're trying to make it your reality. What is actually reality is, yes, during the honeymoon stage, when these women come in because they are fighting for his attention and to be considered first, they're going to do all of these things. All of them. You let one of them not be able to get their nails done one day. And they gonna call him a sorry ass, no good, all of this stuff. Because how do you not have $40 to help me get my nails done? I do all this for you and you don't do that for me. And when you live with somebody, you see how they are every day, right? So if they see, okay, you're saying you can't do this because you're in school, but with all of the types of jobs that they have now, like Lyft and um, Uber Eats, all of these things that you can do in the inch of to be bringing something in the house, and that doesn't happen, that's going to cause arguments. The women are going to be arguing against each other. It's not going to be a kumbaya. It's not. You're living in the house 24/7. If you don't have money because now y'all are taking care of him, because let's just face it, it's not going to be some executive in a corner office doing this. It's going to be people with regular money. You don't have gas to be doing certain things. You don't have money to be going to restaurants. When you want to go on a date or you want your own time with him or something like that, and he's not planning anything, because as you see, he didn't have any, it was no romance even in his voice. Like, the answer that he could have given is, you know, because of the love that I have, because um although I don't have a job right now, I'm a student and making plans for the future. So I want to do this. I'm really good around the house. I've created experiences. It could have been anything. It could have been anything about what he had to offer. And immediately it was himself. That is a problem. That is not going to end well. It's going to be horrible. I do believe that somebody with very low self-esteem, because they heard that he's in college, is going to start talking to him. He's somehow going to be able to reel them in by sounding smart, because a lot of women still want to be saved in some capacity. Got to realize that when on the internet, and this particular person has a huge following on YouTube where the whole video is posted, and then on Instagram, and then somebody like me, I shared it. So it's going to get some play. And so somebody is going to agree to that. Now, whether they're both 18 or whatever, but somebody is going to agree to that. And that is going to break somebody and form them. So at this point, I really think everybody needs to press pause. That's what I think. People need to, and I mean, people, I'm doing it. I think that everybody needs to do a self check, number one, first and foremost, because we just technically, I don't think we're out of it, but we're supposed to be post the 19 thing. We just came out of a very traumatic time. And whether you lost somebody at that time or you just could not do the things that you wanted to do, there is trauma involved in what everybody just went through. So you need to learn who you are as a person. You need to go back and revisit some of those things that we don't visit while we're going through them, because you're going through them. So what you do is put up walls and things in place so that you can make it through it. Well, now everybody needs to go back and deal with those things that they were going through if they weren't in therapy at the time. And I know that everybody wasn't that even wanted to be, because there were so many therapists that were full. My therapist alone was full. It got to the point where as soon as I got to not needing mine every week, I let her know so that she could, I did every other week so she could pick up somebody else, thinking about other people. But that needs to happen. There needs to be time to just cope and deal and get your balance. And on top of that, the economy is 4 times the amount that it was. So everybody just needs to take a minute and go through their feels, get themselves in order, because at this point, everything that's going on is because of what we just came out of. Everything from the grab and goes, meaning the greed, to these fantasies being in your head, because it got to the point where you started making like your Christmas list almost for when it was over. When this is over, I'm going on vacation. When this is over, I'm taking time off. When this is over, I can't wait to see my family. When this is over, that happened. And so for some people, because they didn't have anybody before COVID, well, he's just not going to get anybody at all. If he does, it won't be somebody of substance. But that was dating that was no longer occurring. All these things weren't occurring. So people built up different types of fantasies. When I get out of this, I want to go. I want to go on a date. I want to do this. I want to try this fantasy. So that's going to happen. It's going to happen. So people need to take a step back and just recalibrate with themselves. Like the scale, how you have to recalibrate it. We need to, what is that, Libras? I think Libras are the balance. We need to balance, learn about the new us, and then move forward. But moving forward at lightning speed and hitting the ground running is really hurting people. From the people making horrible decisions, robbing people, to the people that are making horrible decisions, robbing people of their heart. Okay. That is the most valuable thing that somebody has, is their time. And playing goddamn games with people, people is not in a right mind right now. They're really not. And it could be the easiest person to get along with, the nicest person, and people are snapping left and right again, because everybody has that didn't deal with it has some mental type of thing, hurt, whatever it is, anxiety, depression, whatever it is, that they need to recalibrate now that we are able to go back into the world. And then we hit the world and it slapped us in the face after giving out all of this money to help people while they were sitting at home. Now the economy went up and nobody can afford to leave their house. Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. My math ain't mathing. Math used to be my favorite subject, but is this new math? Life adapted to new math. That must be it. I don't know. But women, I am holding you accountable. I am holding you accountable because, like my mama said, if you have a baby, that is your baby. And men at this point, I would even beg to say that for you too, because there are some men that I know that have their children because that woman dropped that baby off and she was gone with the wind. And they kept their kids and took care of them. But your baby is your baby. If you get married, and you have to work on your marriage, you have to not just, annulments don't just get handed out. In some places, divorces don't just get handed out. They actually make you go through counseling and all of these things. But all of the decisions that you're making, women, you're accountable for, because you're at some point, I won't say doing it to yourself. At some point, you're accepting or deciding or wanting to go through something, because there is another side. Anything that you're going through, you have to go through it, right? The only time that any of us, but more focus, I'm talking to women because it's about holding us accountable. The only time that something is stupid, a bad decision, she was dumb, why she do that, blah, 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 is when it doesn't turn out right. And that's the same thing at work. All the decisions that we make is a gamble, from buying your house to investing in stock. Life is just the most expensive stock that you will ever have. And you have to make all of the decisions. You don't have anybody to make them for you, or and to know how they're going to turn out, because you can even live the most biblical and follow everything that God said, and it still doesn't make it turn out right, because you're not the only one in the equation. There's so many other factors that are not included. So women, don't be hard on yourself. When I say that we're going to take accountability, we're going to take accountability in that if we decide to go through and you stick it out with your baby daddy, um, or your father's, your son's father, or your daughter's father, whatever you want to call it, and it does not turn out right, what you're going to do is make sure, okay, this is where the accountability part comes in. Make sure that almost everything that you did is something you wanted to do, that you thought would have the value on the other end, and so you would do it all over again. Okay, kind of like um what your kind of like with your kids. It's no different than with your kids, right? With your kids, you can do what you think is everything that you should. In my generation, I could tell you that a lot of us have talked, and we realized that the error that we made was that we provided too much. And I don't mean financially. I mean, like, just because we didn't want them to be responsible for watching their siblings, and now they're not as close as they should be, and they don't have that responsibility piece that we had, because we were secondary parents to our siblings and taking them with us and dropping them off at school. We don't make them walk to school. We drive them to school. um Things like that, right? That is something that we didn't do because we was like, we don't want that pressure on them. Let a kid be a kid and blah, blah, blah. Well, the other side of that is, you don't just be a kid until 17 years and 364 days. And then on that 365, when you're 18, boom, you're an adult. You didn't spend any of those years teaching them how to be an adult. So now what do you expect? You know? So we learned that through trial and error. But in our heart of hearts, and because, let me think, all the people that I can think of that we have this discussion, all were good kids. All were good kids, meaning good grades, don't get smart, no fighting at school, not a bully, none of that type of thing. Only the regular stuff like getting smart under your breath and, the regular stuff, not cleaning your room. We thought we were doing well. Like, they deserve it because they didn't ask to be here. Everything that we heard coming up, this generation tried to change it, right? So my purpose in always giving an example utilizing kids is because we value our children so much. We have put them on this highest pedestal of life. And to that point, um, very crazy and untreated people pause real quick. What I just recently learned is I was asking why there wasn't more help in Atlanta. Like, why aren't people getting help? There aren't any. There aren't mental health care facilities in Atlanta. That is why you see so many of the crazy people walking the regular streets. So I just want to throw that out there, that a lot of things that we think are available because we're in the US and we think that everything is US based, there's different quirks of things that aren't in. And then think like in the LA area, Patton. How dare you close down Patton? Like things like that. But again, the reason why I use children is because we have become so out of order that we have placed our children on the pedestal and the highest esteem, and they deserve the most and all of that. They do deserve it, but not the most. Your partner does. Your husband or your wife. That is what is yours forever. And until you realize that, and I don't think that people will, I use that example because that allows us to see better what I'm talking about, right? And utilize my examples. Don't be so hard on yourself. Even if you make a mistake, it's okay. If you do something over and over though, you're hurting yourself. And so if you're okay with hurting yourself over and over, we just don't want you to put it on social media. We want you to shut up. Okay? We don't ain't no good men out there. Ain't Yes, it is. It is. It's unfortunate that we go through 69 million thousand before we get to the good one, but there are good men out there. How are you looking for that good man? Good man. Just try to make sure as a woman that what you are doing is in line with what you are comfortable doing and what you would do all over again. Make it be true to yourself. For me, I believe that the reason why I don't necessarily hate my exes and I could still talk to them and things like that is because when it got to a point where it wasn't a relationship for me, I exited the relationship. Point blank, period. That was it. When it comes to the point of not liking what they did, I don't like what you did. But just like any other human, your best friend, your sister, your sibling, you don't nail them to a cross for it. You just don't deal with them in that way. But I like all the other things about you. So why am I going to let go of a whole person because I don't like that thing that they did? You're more so letting go because you are so angry at yourself, but you are taking it out as being angry at them. Hold the accountability to yourself because that's a part of your healing. When I was able to say the things that I was angry with at myself, I was able to move forward. And it could be anything as small as I'm angry for myself because I allowed somebody to talk to me like that and I didn't tell my mom. I am angry with myself because I don't pay enough attention to myself. And this wouldn't have happened if I would have done that. It could even be those things. But walking around saying, I'm so busy, I don't even have time for myself and being angry about it, you literally do have the control to snatch everything off your plate if you wanted to, even for your kids. You're running yourself into the ground for your children. But what good are you going to be if everything stops because you have a stroke or something like that? It's really that serious. And everybody want to talk at funerals. Oh, we need to do this. We need to do that. Everybody want to talk when they're in the hospital. I wish I would have. We can now. You just don't want to sacrifice and you don't want to change anything. And a lot of those things that we hold on to feed our ego. Let's just keep it 100. All the way down to oh my God. Somebody is spamming my thing, guys. Don't click on that link and I'll block it right now. Um I'm so sorry that threw me off. Um Jesus, that threw me off. I'm so sorry. I don't have my backup people tonight, but I need, oh, there it is. I'm so sorry. Um, how do I remove? Perfect. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to do this now, just in case anybody underage is watching. And then I need to block them. Okay. I'm so sorry. What was I saying? Oh God. Oh, though some of those things that we do are for our ego. Okay. And that's one of the things. And ego is not always bad. It's not a bad word. Your ego is just a part of you that needs to be fed, right? And so one of the things, I'll share this before I go. One of the things that's really important to me is always taking care of people that as much as I can, because I just a way for me to help heal me is to give to others what I wish would have been given to me, right? There's still boundaries with that. And I'm learning them as I'm getting older, right? You revisit yourself, you learn. I learned that the reason why I would choose giving versus giving myself what I never had is because of that. It's a feeling that you get from it. And you love to make somebody else smile, and you love playing that role of not playing, you love being in that role of the savior, the angel, the person that when they look at you and say that they say thank you, that's you feel love, you feel loved. That is how you attach to love from some people. um but that for me had to stop because I was complaining so much and actually started therapy at 25, um trying to figure out some things, but again at I think 35, right after we got married, because all of these things happened, the deaths and the all that stuff. So I was saying that to the therapist, like, this is too much. I just it's too much on my plate, too much on my shoulders. And the therapist said, well, remove it. And I was like, I can't remove it. I already committed. Like, I have divine purpose now. These are my nieces and nephews. I have to do this for this person, this person, this person. And she was like, no, you don't. She was like, if something happened, she was like, well, what did they do when you lost your job? And I was like, well, I still did it. I cashed in some of my 401k. The way her eyes rolled in the back of her head, I felt judged. I felt judged. But I got it because that wasn't needed, because the other side of that was some of the people that I was doing it for. I only heard from them when they needed something, and when they called, it was like a scripted thing. Like, they knew to have a sense of urgency and all of this. But anyway, she said, how do you feel when you do things for people? And I was like, I feel amazing, because I remember when I needed something, and it wasn't as easy to ask somebody without judgment, because that's one of my other things that my mom taught me. Like, if somebody borrow money, you don't ask what it's for. All you need to know is when they're going to pay you back, because it's none of your business. They didn't ask you to give it to them, so you don't need to make a decision. Your only decision, um, users for sure. Your only decision needs to be, as my Uncle Ronald would say, if you can't afford to give away that loaned money. You don't get to demean somebody and whatnot. So I would just loan it. They didn't have to go through no red tape and whatnot. Um, Once I started actually implementing the red tape, I lost friends, or who I thought was friends. I became the person who always got something to say. Well, motherfucker, you always need something. I'm not demeaning you. I'm asking you questions. But guess what else I had to do? I had to take the responsibility for that. And it hurts like hell that I lost those relationships, because I didn't think that. It'd been years, because I was growing into the new me. I was losing people. And that's going to happen because they see you as who they needed you to be for their benefit, and they're not willing to allow you to grow, because for you to grow, that means they can no longer use you in that capacity at all. They're not even associates, they're leeches. They're leeches because they never had any good intentions for you. They didn't. They don't give a damn about you, because for somebody at no point to be able to adjust, I get it's an adjustment. And that I gave ownership for. Like, I know they're not going to like it at first if I say no or if I do this. I was realistic in my expectations. I think that that's one of the things I'm really good at is being realistic with my expectations, almost to a point that that ends up hurting me, allowing people too much time. But after years, years have passed by, and for years with some of those people, I hear what they say about me. It's it's not very nice things, but they don't tell the whole story. You have to be willing to own the things that come out of what we have allowed. And that's just point blank, period. That goes for anything. Life is a gamble. Life is chess. It's definitely not checkers. And some of us, based on the age group that I see that's watching this show, I can safely say, um, we know too much. We've seen too much. We're too damn smart at this point. And if you're not strong in that area, reach out to somebody for them to help you. Be transparent and ask for that help. Pray for that help. But if you keep not being honest with yourself, that's what's making people go off the deep end and not want to be here anymore, not want to try anymore, start bashing the males, start bashing other females. Any female that I see, that's why I don't deal with females. Now that this thing happened to I don't know how to say her name. The baby girl that was just in Camp Cabo, and her friends, her associates, did that to her on the post. That's why I don't f with females. That's why I don't like females. I don't have that same feeling. I think women are amazing. I think that they are. I think that men are amazing. I think the children are amazing. I adore elders, and out of all those groups, I can't stand their asses too. The ones that don't act like they got some sense. That's normal. But that attack, that's an immediate red flag that you need to revisit yourself, because either you was around all the wrong people or you was around all the wrong people. But that could be the only answer. So when you are dating, when you're in a relationship, when you're making an adult decision, you have to be ready for the consequences that come from what you are willing to try out, right? It's all a tryout. Um, be okay with how the decisions turn out, and don't be so hard on yourself if they don't turn out right. Okay. We're all going through life. And whether people admit it or not, everybody got a story or 72 that they could say to make themselves cringe. And it's not about keeping it real. It's about keeping it real with yourself. You don't owe everybody a full explanation. You don't. I don't care if you post all of your business. Like this is my last thing. One reality show that I watch is the African Family that I love, the movies that they do, Uche Nancy. She has a reality show for her family. And one of the eldest, Sonia, she was like, I don't like it when people ask me certain questions. So I'll just say, oh, that's not a question that I'm willing to answer. And she's like, people get an attitude and so on. But think about this. We actually, those of us that get in front of these cameras, we stay in front of the camera and sharing to try to connect and let people see this. It's not just you. It might be that one person. It's not just you. This is what's happening. Beautiful, bad, in between, whatever. If we draw a line in the sand and say, that's not something I want to talk about, you don't get to say that we're being fake. Well, you can say whatever you want to, but it is not true that we are being fake, that we are hiding things. I don't have to hide a damn thing. I'm grown. Either I'll tell you or I won't. So what? Um, Living a fake life? How? Is no camera hooked up in here 24 hours, 367? It's not. You don't ask if people have stomach issues. What I'm saying to say that is that you don't need to be with them for that. So why do you feel like you need to be with us for every single thing? And that's the people in your life too. They don't owe you to tell you everything. They'll tell you what they're comfortable telling you. And if they don't want to talk about the rest, it could just be that they don't want to talk about the rest. I literally have somebody that just wrote me a damn letter, 3-page letter, because I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk about what my issue was. And so they felt like I was shutting them out. But I explained why I didn't want to talk about the thing, right? If you know me, you know I don't repeat a story over and over and over. Not a bad one. especially not these days, because that'll drain the energy out of you. I'd rather focus on the good stuff. Telling a story over and over, that's like opening a therapy wound without being able to close it, right? If I'm just telling you just to tell you, and for people that are so pushy to know, unless it's my mom, unless it's my spouse, and unless it's the people that's very, very close to me, if they demand to know something, I'll tell them because they know me. So they won't demand to know something unless I should be talking. So I'll do it. Other than that, now you're making me feel like you nosy. So now I don't feel comfortable telling you nothing. This person, all I said was, I just don't want to talk for the rest of today to you because you are not respecting my boundaries. I don't want to talk about that because I just want to be happy. So I don't want to talk about that. Um, yeah. So I guess because I didn't want to talk about it, they decided to put it in writing as if I was going to answer the letter. We can't make some of this shit up. I can't. I don't. It's crazy. So, in conclusion, no. Yeah, I got a toast. Yep, I got a toast. Here is my toast. Here is toasting to women being more accountable because it is going to save us. Be true to yourself. We are born with the instinct to nurture. We are Mother Earth. So do the things that you would do for anyone. Do the things that you feel will lead to your benefit or the greater benefit. If they do not turn out well, thank yourself. Thank yourself for having the courage and the vulnerability to do it. Take the lessons that you have learned from it and try not to repeat that same thing again. Be open to repeating the same thing again because that might not have been the person. But don't be so hard on yourself. All of these things that we see on social media, they are good for insight, but they are also poison. They are not the Bible, and you do not need to hold on to them and make them a part of your life unless it is something that is damaging to your life, like somebody putting their hands on you or something like that. All the rest is a gamble, and it happened to turn out right for that person. That's why it's important to be true to yourself and thug it out, stick it out, love it out as long as you want to in whatever relationship, family, friends, male, female, whatever it is. But do it because that's what you want to do. That way you can be okay in the end and own your shit. That's it. Because it's your life. You live it the way you want to. Just be healthy and happy. So that is it for tonight. Hopefully, everybody is getting ready for the holiday that is coming up. Y'all better start going to the store because these stores don't have nothing in them. And be safe. Get ready to safely be around your family. Don't forget the vid is still out there. Remember, I just had it and it breaks your body down. So still wear your mask and be safe and all that good stuff. Please share, comment, and of course, make sure you subscribe. And I'll be doing 3 giveaways in the month of December. And I will be starting on the weekend of Thanksgiving, posting about them. So you'll have some gifts to give out for free. That's it. Have a good night. No, really, go home. No, get out. Go home. Go to your house. Why are y'all still here? Okay.